Hello and welcome back SciTi Tech. In this video I'm going to show you a 4-part series of a DIY arcade cabinet that plays Wii games and other old game consoles. Let's get started. And these are the items you're going to need to make for this project. The items you're going to need is some MDF board and some plywood. And you're also going to need this subwoofer, which I did a teardown in a previous video. And this right here is a sound bar that I need to modify for this project. And these right here are video converters that converts all the old game consoles to HDMI, allowing them to work on modern TVs. And I have some power supplies that allow some of my old game consoles to work on 120 volts, because all of my game consoles came from Europe, which uses 220 volts, and some of them need to be converted to 120 volts. Or just simply replace the power supplies. And I also have an HDMI switch box that allows me to attach 5 HDMI inputs. I have right here this LCD that I got from an HD TV that I tore down and extracted this LCD, and this LCD is going to be the main display for this arcade device. And this right here is a controller board that I bought online to allow this LCD to work. And my idea is to get a very thin MDF board and place it on top of where these screws are and place this controller board on top of to keep everything insulated, so that way I can prevent any kind of short circuits, because if I would place this controller board directly to the LCD, it'll cause a short circuit because the surface of this LCD is metal. So what I need to do is place an MDF board on top. First, what I'm going to do is take some measurements. Measuring the controller board, and it measures about 15 centimeters, and the spacings of the screws measures at 11 centimeters. So what I need to do is cut out the MDF board about 15 centimeters and place it on top of here. So measuring 15 centimeters, cut out a square and use this jigsaw to cut out the square. And there, I have my square. And what I'm going to do is place it on top. Next, I'm going to measure corner to corner of this MDF board, so that way I can create an X. An X marks a spot, which is the center of the board. And then take a measurement of 11 centimeters to make an 11 centimeter square. And as you can see, I made a slight mistake. I was measuring one line 11 centimeters and the other lines 10 centimeters, so it caused the square to go off-centered. But that's okay, I still figure out the problem later. And now I'm going to go ahead and take my drill press and drill out 4 holes. And there we go, 4 holes are made. Take some sandpaper and smooth it out and make it nice and clean. Next, remove the screws, because these screws are what's going to be used to hold the MDF board in place. Put them to the side. Take the MDF board and place it in. I need to make the holes a little bit bigger. And there we go, the holes are now bigger. Place it in, and as you can see, it's a perfect fit. Next, I'm going to take the washer and screw and screw it into place. Doing this will hold the MDF board in place. And there, it should look just like this. And I'll take the controller board and put it onto the MDF. Put it into position to figure out where I need to place it. And as you can see, this part doesn't fit very flush, so I need to cut off some of the excess. There, now it fits in place. And now I'm going to make a mark where the screws are going to go. Next, I'm going to take this tool and make a pilot hole. And now put it back on top and screw the screws in place. Screw it in carefully. Now be very careful, don't go too tight, otherwise you might break the board. So loosen the screw a little bit. And there we go, that's a lot better. And now take the second screw and screw it into place. And there, this board is now screwed into place. Now take the second board, and I want to place it right here. Remove these little standoffs. There we go, nice and flush. Put it into position, put in the HDMI cable and power supply, so that way I get an idea of how it fits in perfectly. And I'll make a mark where the screws are going to go. And I'll make a pilot hole. Screw the screws into place, and there, it is now screwed into place. And you can see these cables go in perfectly. And there we go, the power supply is connected and the HDMI is connected, and the HDMI cable is connected to the camera you're watching this video on. And now turn on the LCD and make a test to see if it works. Lift up the LCD. And as you can see, it works. The LCD is displaying whatever the camera is showing. Next, what I'm going to do is organize the loose cables. Tuck them underneath the MDF board. Next, I'm going to take some very strong duct tape and place it over the cables so that way they stay in place. Doing this will make everything more secure. And there we go, nice and secure, and it should look just like this. I have right here this MDF board that I took a measurement of the LCD and the sensor bar for the Wii. And the idea is I need to cut this part out. And as you can see, it fits the LCD perfectly. And this right here is the motion bar for the Wii. Motion bar goes right here on top of the LCD. And this part right here with the speaker icon is where the speakers are going to go. And this right here is my sound bar that I need to modify and place it onto this MDF board. And as you can see, the sound bar is a little bit too big, so what I need to do is modify it and make it a little bit smaller so that way I could be able to place it on the arcade display. So what I need to do is remove these panels, put them to the side because I will use them again. And this right here are the speakers. And there's a total of 6 speakers, so 3 on each side. And as always, see a screw, take a screw, see a screw, take a screw, and remove all the screws. And there we go, all the screws are now removed, and the housing is now removed. Carefully open it. Carefully pull out the cables that are glued into place. And now remove all the screws, so that way I could be able to remove all the parts. And there we go, the small housing that controls the speakers and the audio of the speakers, and of course the input and output of the speakers. Remove this part of the housing because it's not needed. And now take this part here and carefully put it down. And what I need to do is put the screws back inside of this housing because it fits perfectly inside the arcade display. Remove this board that controls the audio and input of the sound bar. And these buttons go on top of these other buttons, so that way I can identify which button does what. Later, that'll go back together. And now, carefully remove all the speakers. Go a little deeper and remove the screws that are connected to the miniature speakers. And now carefully pull everything out. And there, this side is now done. Now repeat the same process on the opposite side. And there we go, all of the speakers are now removed and the controller board is now removed. And as you can see, placing them closer together allows me to fit inside of this arcade display better. And what I want to do is carefully take the housing of this controller board, place it in, and I want to screw it into place. And I want to take these speakers, and as you can see, this part here has to connect to the front. And what I need to do is take a measurement of the size of the speaker, only the round part of the speaker, and what I need to do is detach the speaker and place it from the other side. Because of where the screw connections are going to be, they need to be connected from the outside. And this little volume controller board, I'm going to take it and tuck it underneath the housing, place it right here, and I want to place it going over like this, and take it and glue it to the outside of this arcade display. And that way I can be able to manually push the buttons to control the volume and the input of the audio. And there you have it. This concludes part 1 of 4 of this 4-part series. In the next video, I'm going to show you step by step how to assemble this arcade display and every step of how I assemble the speakers in place. Stay tuned for the next video that comes up next week, or if you're watching this in the future, click on the annotation card above to go to the next video. Thank you for watching SciTi Tech. Hope you learned something new, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and of course click on the bell icon to be notified of future SciTi Tech videos. Till the next tech, goodbye.